Live? All right, there we go. All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Roger Anthony Ali. I'm the host of Nerdcamp Sports this morning. Hopefully, everyone's having a fantastic morning. For my New Yorkers, hopefully everyone's safe. I know you can hear the alarms in the background. It's probably people still outside partying and celebrating. The New York Knicks winning their title, and we're going to get to that later. But just want to fill out what's going on in the sports world and touch base with everybody. How's it going, Mike? How's it going, Will? R&B, what's going on? What's going on, fellas? Talk to me. How are you guys feeling this morning?
Yeah, I'm all right. Just got a lot on the plate, as I was saying in the backstage. This week alone, I agreed to be part of a youth non-for-profit. Going back to just met with a master barber to learn how to cut hair. We made an agreement on that, so that's coming. And still doing this show, the other show. And my job just picked up New Jersey. So now I'm working to 6, 7, 8 o'clock every day. Yeah. So it's been a lot. A lot.
I hear you.
But high spirits for sure. Mental health on a 9 today.
Good. A 9. That's excellent. Well, mine's I would say a 7. You know what I'm saying? I'll say I'm at a 7. Getting there. A lot going on. Birthday coming up soon. So I got a lot to celebrate and be happy about, man. See another year. All right. Will, how's it going, man? What's going on in your world? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm tired. I'm 2 weeks in on a new job, which is going well so far. Still working the city job part-time. And it's I didn't know I had this kind of cachet in our department, but it's kind of going through, the halls of headquarters that I left this building. Spent some time down at headquarters Friday working, and a lot of people had a lot of different kind of conversations with me, so that's interesting. Got not a brand new car, but a new car to me. Picked up a Buick Lucerne. You know what I mean? So that's one more thing that's off my plate that I ain't got to be stressing about. Mental health, I would say I'm at about a 7. About a 7. Still some things I'm sorting out. But I'll say about a 7 right now.
Good, man. I like to hear that. That's what I like to hear. R&B, how you doing, man? How's everything going in your world, man?
Man, everything's pretty decent, man. Everything pretty decent, bro. Just grinding it out, working, living, taking it day by day, man. And just trying to support those around me and get support back. I'd probably say my mental health today is maybe around about maybe about 6.5, I'd say. And I got a boost from that because my cousin treated me to Usher and Chris Brown concert.
Oh, that's what's up.
And I've never seen Usher, which is like my second favorite artist of all time behind Cisco. Yeah. And I've never seen Chris Brown. So and I fuck with Chris Brown too. So I'm gonna get to see the tour, get to see 2 of my favorites, get to see Uncle Usher and nephew Chris. Hey man, I'm all right.
That's what's up.
I'm blessed.
Two things I want to say before we get into the show. One, I'm very happy to hear that no one was under a 6. I think that's the first time that no one on here has told me 3, 2, 1.5. Everyone is above 5, which is good. So that I like to hear 7 to 8. But you know what? God damn it, I'm gonna take 6. I'm gonna take 7. I'm gonna take either one. And number 2, listen, Chris Brown is my second favorite artist in that genre behind R. Kelly. I don't care what no one says. R. Kelly's that good. I don't care what no one says.
Uncle Kills forever, baby. Uncle Kills forever.
Yeah.
I've never got to see Chris Brown perform, but let me tell you, Usher is a performer. Him and Trey Songz. I went to a concert with the 2 of them. That was my first concert ever. And what's that? The Izod Center here in New Jersey, where the Nets used to play.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, talk about a performer, man. So make sure you enjoy that concert. Take it all in, man. Just
Yep.
be a fan. Cause I know I was like, damn, this is one hell of a concert. I was mad I couldn't afford them. I bought some J. Cole tickets for August. So I was like, well, that's my concert for the year. So
Yeah,
And
man.
one Sunday we gonna have to come on here and talk music, man. We just gonna have to
Yeah.
come on here one Sunday and just kick it about music.
Yeah,
listen,
yeah,
that
yeah. We definitely
we
gotta
get
do that.
No, I'm with it.
listen, summer's coming. So
Summer, right? I was about to say this the perfect time to do it.
Yep.
we
Everything
here.
slows down. That's facts.
Mhm.
You know, it's funny because I had the opportunity many years ago, over 20 years ago, to open up for Usher. My group and I, we was doing music with, back in the days, and we opened up for him when he
Mhm.
was doing 8701. I mean, Confession, excuse me, Confessions tour. So he puts on a hell of a show, man. You're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be fun. I never had the opportunity to meet or go to a Chris Brown show, but I've heard he's great. He's one of the best performers of all time. They said he puts on an incredible show. So, man, enjoy yourself. Be safe out there, man, and definitely let us know what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, plenty footage, plenty footage. Hopefully some twerk on footage too.
Yeah, man. All right, so we're gonna get started. First we're gonna get started, with a little bit of a heavier topic. We want to send our condolences to Eldon Smith. He played for the 49ers. He passed away, unfortunately, at the age of 36. I'm not too
Hmm.
familiar with the topic. I just found this out. I was not really too privy to know about this. So I want to start off with Will because he brought it up, and I think it's very, very important that we do cover this because a lot of our football players, unfortunately, at a young age, pass away. And I'm not sure how he passed away, but I really want to just send my condolences to his family and those close around him. So, Will, just want to go with you first to kind of touch bases on it and give us a little insight on what happened or, your thoughts on it.
I definitely want to start with sending condolences to his family, his friends, his teammates. Really sad story. Really talented dude. The article that I read, it didn't say how he passed away, exactly what happened. And for anybody who is not familiar with Alden Smith, he was drafted by the 49ers. Um, had 35 and a half sacks his first 2 years in the league. I think it was 16 his rookie year and 19 and a half his second year. Looked like, he was on a trajectory to be, multi-time Pro Bowler, possibly Hall of Fame level talent. After his second year in the league, had some off the field issues. I think he had 3 DUIs, had a situation where he got caught with some assault weapons, whatever the case may be. All of that changed the trajectory of his career, suspensions, um, getting cut by the 49ers, played with the Raiders for a bit, got suspended again, came back a couple years after that, had a cup of coffee with the Cowboys. And if I remember right, that was the end of his career. Just, like I say, we ain't got to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I remember that guy. He was a beast, and he was somebody that looked like he was on his way. Not the first guy that we done seen, come out the gate and then just not quite end up being what we thought they would be. Javon Curse, with the Titans back in the day, he had his crazy rookie year and, a really good 3 or 4 year run, didn't end up, sustaining it that way. But like I said, I just, wanted to speak on it today because I remember that guy in them first 2 years. Like it's rare that you got a rookie coming into the league that's in the conversation for best at their position at any position. You know what I'm saying? That's a really, really rare thing and difficult thing to do. So I just, felt like he should be acknowledged today.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Fair enough.
definitely.
So
And I appreciate that, because that's one thing that we have to do more of. Um, and I'm not just saying the show, I'm saying like in life. It's just acknowledge those for, not just their accomplishment or anything like that, but also just being who they are. Because you never know what type of impact they have on a person's life. And we don't know what a person's going through. You know what I'm saying? So whoever want to go next, they can go next.
Real quick, I'm sorry, I meant to say this too. I was reading the article. He did end up starting an organization trying to help young athletes not, you know what I mean, find themselves succumbing to the pitfalls that he did. So he did take that, you know what I mean? He did take those losses, you know what I mean, and turn them into some wins.
Good, good.
Yeah, no, I don't have much on this. Just, condolences to his family, the organization. Like you said, Raj, we as people, and not just media, just people in general, have this issue where we're doing so much, we don't take a second to stop and look at things for what they are, and a lot, and then life passes you by. And unfortunately, for some of us, or for some of us, people's lives are past them or end before they should. And especially when he sounds like he had a lot of trouble, or off the field. But ultimately, one thing I do want to say is, and we don't know the cause of his death. But one thing I do want to say is, you don't know what people are going through. Especially, this is Men's Mental Health Month, for anyone who watches who doesn't know that. And I think that, a lot of times people have this preconceived idea that just because you are in a league, right? And that you make money, that you're happy, or that things are good. And that's not always the case, because, at the end of the day, if like, I'm going to just say, use Jay-Z as an example. To us, he's Jay-Z. He's Hove, right? But when he go home, he got to be Sean Carter.
Yeah.
On the field, he's a football player. He's a general. A captain, maybe even, or whatever you want to say. But when he go home, he got to be Alden Smith, the man. And people mix the two together. And it's weird because it's gray. It's very gray, and it's unfortunate. But just condolences to his family and his teammates, and hopefully, the cause of his death was natural. Unfortunate as even that's to say, but
yeah, absolutely. R&B.
Well, I was kind of doing a little bit of research on it while everybody was talking, and they still haven't released an official cause of death, but apparently he was with his friend Amir Shirazi, somebody out of Los Gatos. They was at his house Saturday morning when Amir says that he walked out and seen Alden Smith slumped over in the front passenger seat of his pickup truck, and he thought that he was asleep, but he saw that he kind of had like a slight twitching, and he quickly figured out something was wrong. Couldn't figure if it was a seizure or what or whatever, but he called 911, and fate would follow. But I just want to say, I put my condolences out there. So I pray for that young man, his soul, and his family. And it's sad to hear these types of things. And like you had alluded to, Mike, what I'm saying, a lot of times we be so caught up in life that we, forget to pay attention to these precious things, and reach out to one another and different things like that. And I personally can attest to that because, I recently, lost my father, and I'll be 100% with you. I did not get a lot of support from my friends the way that I thought that I would. My brother here on the cast, he showed up, for me. But outside of that, it was just life is normal from people that you thought would, show up for you. So I can attest to that, man. We definitely have to do better. We got to do better with that type of stuff as a culture and as a society, because we fall short with that type of stuff a lot. But at least he was in the hands of a friend, at the time that tried to do all he could do to, make sure that what would finally happen happened. But you know, that's life, and that's how it goes, man. It's sad. So condolences.
Yes, definitely.
And I just want to add on to what you said. And I know we're a sports show, but you hit something that's just that sometimes reality just has to just be said. That goes for us as people too. And I want to say that I remember during that time with your dad, you weren't on the show a week or two. Um and I had reached out to you because like it's one of those things where like you want to give someone their space, but you want to make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
And you were like, thanks, that means a lot. And and I know what you mean. A lot of times, like that's why I go through things privately. Um, because sometimes, and it's not to get support, but when something like that happens, you should support someone. Even just checking and saying, hey, how you doing today? Like simple. It really takes 2 seconds to, to just pick up your phone. You on it 80% of the day anyway. So, just hit that message. And I just wish, we as society could do better. Not everyone thinks like me and like you and like or agrees on that portion. And I just, society's a sad, sad, sad place. It's just same thing with even when I started my show. I got more support at times I felt from strangers than the people I knew. It just be it'd be weird like that. I don't know. I don't get it, but I just had to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely important to say because sometimes we go through things and we don't know how the other person really feels. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for us to always keep in mind that we're human. But definitely condolences, and I wish his family the best in this very troubling time. Because especially for him to pass away that young.
How
I
old
mean,
was he?
he was, I believe,
36.
36, right?
Wow.
36.
Wow.
Yeah, that's young,
Mm.
man. But condolences to him and his family, man. But we're gonna move forward with the NFL topic. We're gonna talk about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' contract has been reworked, and he's was able to get a contract extension of a landmark of $500 million, $504.7 billion. I mean $1 million, excuse me. An annual average of about 64 million. Um, Overall, they said it says 64 million for the new years and 397 million in overall guarantee. So pretty much a guarantee of 397 million. See, that's one thing about the NFL. In NFL, they have like a whole bunch of like bonus money and incentive money that's a little bit different than the NBA or MLB. But yeah, pretty much overall, they said it's a full potential of about half a billion, which is $504 million. So we're gonna start with R&B, and then we're gonna move to Will, and then Mike. Um, what is your thoughts on this Patrick Mahomes contract in his career right now, and what do you think it's going to do for the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward?
I'm glad you asked that question the way you did. Because
I
that's
made sure I
exactly
worded it right.
that's exactly the type of context that I'm gonna follow, bro.
Okay.
This is a big deal. For one, he just reset the market for all future great quarterbacks coming up. Like
Mm-hmm.
they already making crazy money, but it's about to get even crazier with that contract. But what I will say for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think it's a good move. We all know who Patrick Mahomes is. He's that guy. He's that dude. They locked him up. You know what I'm saying? They took care of him. But this is the key to it. He just got paid and taken care of for what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's gonna have to go out there and do. And the scary part for me is him going down the way he did last year with that ACL. Could he possibly fuck around and come back and not be 100% of himself? Could we see some type of drop off in his play? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I hope doesn't happen, because we all know what could follow behind that after getting such a big deal if he's not the same Patrick Mahomes. So that's why I say he just got paid and taken care of for what he's did, but for what he's done, but he's gonna have to go out there and do now, because it's gonna be, higher expectations. And it sucks that it happened around this time with such an injury, but the technology and everything that we have today, we see people bounce back from ACL injuries like that, but it does not always happen like that. You know what I'm saying? We see it, but it's not 100% case where every athlete, you know what I'm saying? Look at Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? Same injury. Has not been the same. We were calling this dude the Michael Jordan of quarterbacks at one point in time. Tore his ACL up, has not been the same. Now, I know it was a litany of injuries that followed behind that, but the first initial injury that knocked him off the plateau was that torn ACL. And then, we all know what, went, what was surrounding that as well. We ain't got to get into that, but, I just wanted to kind of hint on that. But other than that, man, I'm glad they took care of them. I'm glad that these quarterbacks are going to continue to get paid, because I'm seeing a lot of black quarterbacks on the rise. the dual threat, you know what I'm saying? That people like Fran Tarkington and Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick and a host of others fought to, what I'm saying, get recognized is now recognized, and they are the best quarterbacks in the league for the most part now. So kudos to Pat, man. Hope he can deliver.
Definitely. And and I think with his and I'm glad that you said it the way you said it as well, because they're paying him for what he already done. And for him to be a 3-time champion, 3-time MVP, two-time most valuable player, 3-time finals MVP, Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl MVP. There's a lot there that pretty much, we know how these contract renewals work. You get paid for the work that you already did. But for him to be in his 30s, there's a lot more to come. He's still got, hopefully, a few more years in his prime. So, Will, what is your thoughts on this contract? Also, what do you think is the impact that he's going to have on the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward?
Earlier in the week, I was reading this article that was talking about the highest paid players at each position in the NFL, right? And they listed like the top 11 or 12 quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes was number 11 or 12 or whatever it was. And I sat there and I looked at that and I said, "Oh, they about to rework that deal." Like, you know what I mean? Like I was not at all surprised. You know what I mean? When I saw this yesterday, it was like, "Oh, there it is." You know what I mean? And kind of to the point that you were making about the nature of these contracts, Raj. More oftentimes than not, if it's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year deal, it's not the amount of years that it really looks like. You know what I'm saying? That's all for, like you said, signing bonus purposes and salary cap purposes, trying to stretch some of that out over the life of the contract or whatever the case may be. What I found interesting was, obviously, I feel like he deserved it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have too many concerns. I know it's not, like 100%. There's a chance that he may come back and not be the same, but I'm not too concerned about that. What I found interesting was that the first 4 years of the contract are fully guaranteed. So, and I don't feel like the quarterback market is ever set. Like, I feel like there are times at other positions where players like Myles Garrett set the market for pass rushers a few years back. And then Houston just reset it was Will Anderson this offseason, right? So expect Myles Garrett, you know what I'm saying? And he did renegotiate his contract once he got traded to the Rams, right? Then they gave him a raise, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I got to double check. So. I think they did. I believe they did.
Right. You see what you know what I'm saying? So, and I could be wrong, and if they didn't, they will. But with the quarterback market, I think everybody except for Jerry Jones understands that the quarterback market never is set. Any offseason that if ever a elite level quarterback hit the open market, you know what I'm saying? It would be a bidding war. You know, it always behooves you to kind of, what they say, it's cheaper to keep them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cheaper to keep them. Everybody understand that against Jerry Jones, and he end up bidding against himself, and that's how Dak end up with clauses in his contract with a no trade clause, and they can't franchise tag him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like in 4 years, they're gonna revisit it again because somebody, somebody else's contract is gonna be coming up and they gonna get paid. And the next guy's gonna get paid, and and in another 4 years, they probably gonna, re-up with them again. But so I know that 504 million sound good. Is probably gonna, not that he's going to end up with less than that. He'll probably end up with more than that when they, renegotiate the next time, because the salary cap has been skyrocketing in the NFL. That's the other part of it too. The salary cap has been going up far more than it did in past years. It's been going up 10, 12, $15 million a year. So that means quarterback, everybody's price is going up. When you're talking premium positions, quarterback, left tackle, pass rusher, and now they're treating receivers, high-end receivers as a premium position. But yeah, man, like I say, after I read that article earlier this week, I knew this was coming, sometime soon. I didn't know it was gonna be, this week, but I knew it was coming. I figured they was negotiating.
Definitely.
Just a quick fact check. I'm not seeing anything on LA reworking Myles Garrett deal, just to throw it out there. So but we all know that he still got the massive deal from the Browns though.
Yeah, and I feel like he's the type of player that doesn't mind just accepting what they gave him as far as from the other team, and if it's needed to win, he's probably going to make a little bit of adjustments, but he wants to win. I think more than anything.
Yeah, he want to win at this point. You can tell he want to win.
Yeah, and
I wish Brad Holmes would have mortgaged him.
Man. I don't even want to talk about that shit right now.
But you know what? That goes to show you, man. No, it's all good. I just wanted to say this real quick. That goes to show you, when a person is loyal, sometimes it pays off. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like one of those things where it's some teams just don't know what the hell to do with players.
Hey, listen to me. If the Lions had traded for Myles Garrett, the four of us could be the Lions DBs, and we could still compete for the Super Bowl.
So it'd be a record of yards given up, air yards that year. And I did just finally find that they did rework his deal, 5 years, $204 million, 35.7 million signing bonus.
Good.
Just slightly more than Will Anderson. You know what I'm saying?
Just a touch more. Just a touch
on,
more. But
on the yearly average,
he did just get the record.
Oh, he deserved it. He deserved it.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Definitely, man.
And he deserved a win. It's just supposed to have been in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, I know you guys. That was your old quarterback, but to see him go play out there with what's the name?
With Stafford.
With Stafford, I think is a good thing, man. The Stafford, he's been through a lot.
I just continue to take pride in Stafford proving me right that it wasn't him, it was the Lions organization.
Facts, man.
Not that he didn't have none of the responsibility, you know what I mean? Just so we clear, but no, he wasn't the problem.
Yeah. You know what? And it's funny you said that, because that's exactly how I feel about Sam Darnold. I feel like they gave up too soon, and look at him. He's a Super Bowl champion. So it's just like, come on, man. But Mike, what's your thoughts on the Patrick Mahomes contract? That's an apples to oranges
comparison there.
Look,
big apples to oranges comparison. That's all I was gonna say. I'm not gonna debate. I'm letting my brother Mike get in. That's all I was gonna say. That was a very apples to oranges comparison.
Oh man. Well, In terms of the contract, we know it's coming. We knew it was coming, but this tells me a couple things. And this kind of goes with the NFL schedule. The Kansas City Chiefs have a primetime game week 2. I read a report yesterday that's gearing towards Mahomes playing week 1. So that lets me know that he's either on track or ahead of schedule with this injury.
They been had said that. They said he was on track
Oh,
to
yeah.
be ready for the OTAs and shit, which is surprising.
Yeah. So, and it called now already, like to R&B's point made that they paid him for what he's done. Let's what he's already done in the short amount of time. Sometimes that's a player's whole career, and they're a Hall of Famer. So like if he were to retire today, I'd have no issue with him going into the Hall of Fame. So it also tells me they believe that he's going to be better at, or the same if not better once he recovers from this injury. Tom Brady tore his ACL, ironically, in the same season of his career that Mahomes has torn his. And he came back and, looked like I hoped he was done. And he came back, motherfucker was better. I'm like, damn.
Right. I thought he was done too.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're done. Thank you. Go away. And then you came back and
that's because it was back then.
Oh, my God. And that was before it really even started, So to me, I believe, they believe in him. They know last year wasn't Kansas City football, and it really wasn't fully on him. But I think what it was teams figured it out because they didn't get blown out. I don't recall any blowout loss. They would lose by 3 or by 5. Teams have just figured out how to be on the winning side. Kansas City has to figure out how to get back to the winning side of those close games. But the contract, I think, the organization believes in him. I think, he's definitely, whether people like it or not, he's the face of the league. And he going to come back, and I believe he's going to come back with a vengeance. And, and to Will's point also, resetting the market. Again, it helps these quarterbacks get paid, but, I would just hope all the other quarterbacks don't want to take the money and not put in the work. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys want to, they want to have the money but not put in the work. I look at even Matt Stafford, I believe, was just extended. And I don't think we covered that, but I read something about him getting another year extension recently. Yep. But he put in the work. He was the MVP. And then on top of that, to me, they could have easily won against Seattle. It wasn't like they got blown out. It just Seattle was able to outlast them. So I'm good with the contract, with the deal, and I'm sure the Chiefs are going to find a way to get back to their style of football, and I think they believe that too.
That's definitely an excellent point. I just want to add in one thing before we move on to the next topic. I think this contract was definitely it was well deserved because Patrick Mahomes put in a lot of work and won those championships and those Super Bowls, and did a lot of things for the organization. However, they still have an issue on the wide receiver side. Let's be honest.
That's the fact.
Rashid Rice, right? And then Xavier Worthy. Now, I'm not saying they're bums. They're good. They're both really good wide receivers, but we know Rashid Rice has issues with a whole bunch of trouble off the field.
It's off the field stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Xavier Worthy, as good as he is, he's low-key injury prone. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not wishing that on him. I'm just saying, as far as the way he's built, a lot of wide receivers that's built like that, they get banged up when it comes down to the playoffs. When it's around the playoff time.
He get a lot of little knick-knack injuries here and there throughout the season. You definitely can see that he a knick-knacker. But I don't think Xavier Worthy is what you kind of making him out to be. I think he's clearly a second receiver. He's a take the top off style second. and he needs somebody else to be able to, blanket coverage in order for him to do what he do. If he don't have nobody else over there that's tearing up, what I'm saying, that number one side and commanding them double teams and stuff, he's relatively not a part of the game.
Yeah,
And we've seen it
I,
throughout this season.
I think
and
that
that.
oh my bad, Rod.
No.
I think Travis Kelce took a step back last season too. Like, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yeah.
Like he, you know what I mean? And shit, he's in his 12th, 13th year, something like that, as a tight end. You know what I mean? I know we think of him as a receiving tight end, but he blocked, you know what I mean? He's a physical runner with the ball. So, he's probably not gonna have a better season than he did last year either. So I do still feel like they need I feel like
I think he
Rice
will.
and Worthy are pieces. I don't feel like either one of them
They
are a guy.
pieces.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are the guy. You know what I'm saying? And
I
with
can agree
Kelce
with that.
with Kelce regressing, you know what I mean? They need somebody. They need a guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I actually think that Travis Kelce, real quick, Roger, real quick. I actually think Travis Kelce is going to have a better season this year than last year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he'll outdo it by miles or anything like that, but I think he'll be better. And this is why. If you pay attention to what he said in the offseason, say at the end of last season and shit, when he kind of alluded to not really being there, his mindset being there the way it needed to be and stuff like that, because he was doing the
Running around
podcast
with
with his
Taylor Swift and
brother, and
shit.
then you got all the Taylor Swift shit going on. If you pay attention, his offseason this year has been relatively more quiet than it was
Yeah.
last year.
That's a
That's a
It's
fact.
good
been
point.
relatively more quiet with Travis Kelce. So I
Let,
think that's a allude to, I think he's going to come out hungry this year, focused with his mind on the game, in shape, and he'll play better. And it'll help the offense if they can get a guy, like you
let me
said.
add on to that real quick. And it's been kind of quiet and under the radar, but Eric Bieniemy is back too. And I'm curious to
Good
see,
point.
Yep.
you know what I'm saying, what kind of effect that's gonna have. So
I didn't even think about that. Wow. Well, you never count the Chiefs out. That's one thing I've learned. You never count them out, because when you do, they go to the Super Bowl. So it is what it is. Because that's literally what I did. And R&B and Mike can tell you, it was a couple years ago, but we was talking about the Chiefs. I'm like, man, ain't no way they're gonna make the Super Bowl, and they end up winning. So it's crazy. But with that being said, let's move forward. We got the situation with James Harden. Speaking of troublemaker off the court, James Harden got arrested out there in Houston with a gun on him. I'm not 100% sure, what exactly happened afterwards, if he was bailed out, because they didn't really dig into the story too deep. But we're going to start with Mike. Mike, what are your thoughts about James Harden getting arrested out there in Houston with the gun on him?
This nigga trying to leave Cleveland, bro. That's the first thing I thought. Like, bro, what are you doing? You trying to leave Cleveland? It's like, to me, it's just like he's never had, and to my knowledge, and maybe I'm wrong, but he's never had any issues off the court, like in terms of in terms of like with the law, because he would wear a fat suit, not show up to games when they need him, that kind of stuff. I'm not counting. I'm saying, yeah, man. But in terms of like, this, it's just like, bro, how stupid can you be? Did you not see what John Morant went through? And he was in a state where he could carry a gun. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You can carry a gun in Texas.
Yeah, in Houston too.
Can you?
Like,
that's not the issue. The issue was that he didn't have it holstered.
Yeah, unholstered.
The issue was not him having a gun; it's that he didn't have it holstered. That was the problem.
Okay.
Okay. Bail was $100.
$100. Yeah.
He was arrested at, I think, 2-something, 3-something in the morning, and he bailed himself out at 4:47 a.m. or something like this. It's this is not front page news. That's why I wasn't, portrayed like that on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not
it's
gonna be a
just
big
like
deal.
bro, James Harden. The thing I'll leave off with is he always finds a way to get the wrong type of attention, like the fat suit, disappearing in the finals. It's like, bro, like he just gets the wrong type of attention. This don't help. Like, granted, yeah, probably nothing will come of it. I didn't know that you could carry a gun in Texas, so
So Gary State.
yeah, so not everywhere is like New York. You know what I'm saying? So nothing will probably come of it, but I still stand by my opening statement. Bro wants out of Cleveland on the low.
Nah, I definitely agree with that. I want to say this before we move to Will. I definitely agree with that because one thing about it, his body language during the playoffs. I mean, yeah, we know he didn't play great at all. He played like shit. But his body language, even like, it just seems like he wasn't interested in playing in Cleveland anymore. I mean, during the series, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's a message in a bottle. I'm not saying he intentionally did this to put in the front page or to get recognition or to get some type of like news buzz, but I do feel like he heard the buzz. He knows what's going on. He knows that LeBron's coming to Cleveland. So I think he's feeling away. Go ahead, Will.
I don't think it's a big deal. Like I say, Texas is Texas. You a weirdo in Texas if you don't have a gun, if you don't carry. Um, like I say, if it was front page news, it'd have been breaking news. James Harden, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. It wasn't even a headline. It was just what I mean on the blotter. I don't think that he's in a position to. Having said that, I don't think he's in a position right now to be even though I don't think it's a big deal in the general sense, it's not a big deal when you're all-star James Harden. You know what I'm saying? The system James Harden. When you a guy who, for the how manyth ever seasons that you've played in the NBA, did not show up again in the playoffs. You know what I mean? You technically got a player option for next season if you want to exercise it, but it's only guaranteed for $13 million. The rest of it is not guaranteed. So they can still, in theory, trade you to somebody who can just waive you. You know what I mean? Pay you your $13 million and let you walk. It's not going to be a whole bunch of teams lining up to throw the bag at you this summer. So this, he not doing himself no favors right now. I would definitely say that he definitely ain't doing himself no favors. This is his, first kind of brush with the law. You know what I mean? Off the court. For the most part, the off the court issues that people tend to bring up with him is how much he be at the strip club. You know what I'm saying? But and the issue with Ja too was that he had his gun inside of a strip club. Like that's illegal. You know what I'm saying? Let's not forget that part. But like I say, he in a in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big a deal. But for him, you know what I mean, when it comes to negotiations, whether it's with Cleveland or anybody else, like they're gonna hold this, like that's part of negotiations. Now they're gonna hold this against him. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean, you was getting cooked. You know what I mean? Jalen Brunson hunted you out for you know what I mean, a whole series, and you didn't do nothing about it for 4 games. You know what I'm saying? So this he definitely, that's what I'm gonna leave. How I'm gonna end it. He ain't doing himself no favors. He ain't done himself no favors since the playoffs started.
Damn. Yeah, that's facts.
But
R&B, what's your thought?
that's what else do we expect from James Harden come May and June?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right about that. Especially he got nothing but time on his hands. It's either the strip club or, you know, the strip
Are
club.
they celebrating outside drawing houses and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I know
I'm
there
about
was
to
a
say,
few
what
people
the hell is
last
all
night.
that yelling and shit?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't. No one's
Y'all
yelling
ain't hear
now.
that?
I didn't
No.
hear yelling.
I heard somebody like yelling or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? But I swear I heard that. Even I know I'm not tripping, bro, and I got on headphones too. I know I ain't tripping. This weed ain't that damn potent. But man, what were we talking about again? That threw me off. I heard
James
somebody
Harden.
yelling, bro.
James,
Oh, Jay, that threw me off, bro. I swear I heard somebody yelling. But James Harden, man, I don't know, bro. I really don't even have much to say on this one. Like bro said, it really ain't no big deal. It ain't like he shot somebody or got into a scuffle with the police or some shit like that. It's an open carry state. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker was probably walking around with it movie style instead of on a holster like he is supposed to. Probably had it either in his pocket or in his waistband or whatever he was wearing or some shit like that.
They say it was sitting
I
on the
don't know who
passenger
made
seat.
that.
yeah, they
Oh,
said
it
it was
was
in the
sitting
car.
on the passenger
Yeah,
seat.
it was
Oh,
sitting on the
okay, so
passenger seat.
okay. Well, damn, what the fuck? Who
He
motherfucker got
might have been.
ops
He
out
might have been
there?
pulling up.
Motherfucker got
He
ops.
might have been pulling up.
That's
Shit,
crazy. Man, look, I'm gonna
that's
be
what it
real
sounds
with
like.
you. At this point in James Harden's career, he done made enough money to where, you know what I'm saying, if he feel like he need to carry a gun in order to, you know what I'm saying, like have it out like that, in the place wherever he may have been headed, why not just have security or some shit like that, or
Right.
secure drivers or some shit like that, so that way you don't even have to have none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even a chance of it, blowing back on you or whatever. Even though it ain't that big of a deal, but still, like, you know what I'm saying, when you got that type of money. You know what I'm saying? You awarded the privilege to be able to move a little different, to have these types of things. Average niggas like us, yeah, we might have to ride like that because of the areas we live or that we visit and so on and so forth. So that brings me to the next point. Where the fuck you going where you feel like you need to have that bitch out on the passenger seat like that?
Mm.
Stay out of them type of areas. You are a wokey nigga. like or you know what I'm saying? So but like I said, at the end of the day, it ain't that big of a deal. But I haven't heard the rumors of LeBron in Cleveland. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Cleveland. Frankly, I don't give a fuck. But I wish Donovan Mitchell would end up in Detroit. Somebody end up in Detroit. Myles Garrett, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown. God damn. Can we get one of these motherfuckers in Detroit? Somebody make a move. Shit.
I thought,
But
honestly,
don't
I
send us
thought.
James Harden though. We don't need that shit.
Nah, hell no.
Well, real quick, I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna move on. But I want to say this. I honestly thought that Crosby was gonna end up with the Detroit Lions.
Max
He's
Crosby.
Max
from
Crosby.
yeah.
He's from Michigan.
He's from Michigan. Yeah. So I thought that would be a
He,
perfect
he
fit.
went to Eastern Michigan. I don't know if he's from here,
Oh well.
but he played at Eastern Michigan.
Yeah.
He looked like one of those dudes from 8 Mile.
Nah, he looked like one of them dudes from up north somewhere.
Right. Drive a pickup that set
You
up
know?
high. And shit. Hold on.
Yeah, the pickup trucks.
Hold on,
Yeah.
motherfucker. Let
With
me
the
not say that.
32s or whatever. But one thing we know about James Harden, even if he is carrying a gun, he's definitely gonna miss his shot. So it don't even matter. So everyone's safe. So we good. We don't gotta worry about nobody getting shot. You're gonna miss it. So moving forward, we're gonna talk about a little bit more about the NBA. We got Sabonis trade to the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, this is irrelevant news, but
I read that it's a rumored trade. It hadn't happened. I read it's a rumored trade.
Okay,
so I looked and seen it kind of quick. I was in the middle of something and I just sent it and I didn't fully fact check it, but it is a rumored trade out there. But what I'm hearing is that the Hornets don't want to give up a first round pick to pull the trigger.
I'm going to just touch bases on that real quick. Honestly, I don't think Sabonis need to go to the Hornets. I think Sabonis need to go to a team like he need to go back to Indiana. I think Indiana is perfect for him. You know, I think he played great out there. Obviously, it's not working with the Kings. It's not working with any team outside of that. So I think Indiana's perfect for him to go back to playoff contention basketball. But as far as the Hornets, I like what they got. I don't think they need to move any pieces. What did you guys thoughts?
They got more to build off of in Charlotte. And I know one of the pieces they'd be giving up in that rumored trade is Miles Bridges. And you know, he's a pretty good two-way player, you know, defense, you can score, you know, he to me, I've seen a lot of inconsistency, but maybe you guys have watched more of them than I have. But you know, they can give you 30 one night and give you 6 the next night. But you know, he's defensive.
Miles Bridges.
Yeah.
That's him. That's him right now. It's crazy.
So,
he went from being so consistent. I think a part of that is related to him him taking a step down and taking a step back, because when you the number one option and you constantly able to, you know, look for your shit, you can stay in a better rhythm than when you drop down to being the third, fourth option. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why we seeing the inconsistencies, because shit, in Brooklyn, he was a 22, 25 a night guy consistently.
That's Mikal Bridges. No, Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges.
Shit. Oh man, I'm tripping. All right.
But it's pretty much the same sentiments.
That's all I really got on that.
I would probably take Miles over Mikal.
But would you take Miles? Would you take Miles over Sabonis?
For that team, I would. I think part of I don't think
Sabonis worth a first round pick no more.
No, he's not worth it. What is he? 30? How old is he?
I think to the right team. I think to the right team.
Are we talking this draft?
No, that's what
Sabonis is 30.
That's why I was saying it depends on what kind of draft pick it is. If it's Charlotte's 2027 first round pick, you know what I'm saying? If it's this year's draft, it kind of depends on where it falls. I'm not saying I don't think he's worth a lottery pick in this draft. You know what I mean?
No.
Next year's draft kind of depends on what next year's draft look like. But I feel like that team need the same thing and I had put it in the chat or whatever, but when Ryan asked me earlier in the season, like, you know what I mean, who I felt like a good piece would be for the Pistons, I said Sabonis, because he's a non-ball dominant facilitator. You know what I'm saying? He plays off the ball, but he still gets you 7, 8, 9 assists a game. Not the best defender in the world, you know what I mean? Rebounds really well and can score. Not a great shooter, but you know what I mean? Not a bad shooter. He can space the floor a little bit. On that team, LaMelo is your point guard, but LaMelo is not, you know, like a facilitator in that way. He gonna have some games where he gets you 9, 10, 11 assists or whatever, but he a bucket getter first. So having a non-ball dominant, because that's the other thing too. I think the reason they're trying to move Bridges is because LaMelo need the ball. Brandon Miller is gonna need the ball more moving forward. And Knipple, which we know he kind of off the ball for the most part, but you still gotta, you know what I mean, get shots for all of them too. Man, Miles Bridges really ain't like a floor spacer off the ball player like that. You know what I mean? He kind of need the ball in his hands a little bit. So to get somebody who don't need the ball in their hands as much a little bit for that team, I think it makes a lot of sense for that team.
That's actually a good point. And you know what? Go ahead.
Real quick. The one thing I will point out real quick that I think none of us are really paying attention to, though, is Miles is the type of player he fits there with them on this come up that they on right now, because we know the Hornets been trash for a minute, even with LaMelo. I feel like he fits there with them, with the soul and spirit of that team. Like he bring that toughness, he bring that grit to the floor, that up and down. And I'm not saying Sabonis is a pussy, but they, they two different guys when it comes to like what they bring to the floor. So I'm not sure that Sabonis might not come in and possibly interrupt that chemistry in a way. It could work out the way bro said, though. It could work out. I'm not arguing the basketball points. I'm just arguing the chemistry points, because Sabonis is a different type of breed versus what Miles is and how he fit in with them, and some of those surrounding pieces are. I mean, they got Knipple out here, what I'm saying? Trying to, what I'm saying, act like he, what I'm saying? A guy and shit. So it just kind of want to pay attention to that as well too, like that chemistry factor.
Yeah.
Kenny, is he, what I'm saying, is it going to interrupt something getting rid of Miles Bridges from that locker room?
And you know what? Just add real quick.
I just want to respond to what he said real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to respond to what he said real quick. I agree with you to a certain degree, because I feel like they still gonna have to figure out the defensive end. I feel like he'll elevate them on offense, not because Miles Bridges, you know what I'm saying? Just because, again, Knipple is gonna probably take another step next year. You expect LaMelo to take another step next year. You expect Brandon Miller to take another step next year. Sabonis don't have to have 20 points a night to give you his best possible self on any given night. The rest of them guys kind of need their buckets. You know what I mean? So I feel like they kind of, Sabonis is going to give you offense just in a different way than what Bridges does, but Sabonis can't give you on defense what Bridges does, and they are going to have to figure that part out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I did take that into account. So that's why I say, like, I understand why you're saying what you're saying. I don't think it's going to be chemistry so much as don't none of them motherfuckers play defense like that. So they're gonna have to, you know what I mean, they're gonna have to figure that part out.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say real quick about that is I think the chemistry plays a huge part in it. However, I also feel like if they got that offensive rebounder or that defensive rebounder that can set up the play running down the court also can be a huge factor too. So for example, you have like because he plays more of a European style. You know what I'm saying? He plays more of a back to the basket / like how Cat plays.
He got face up in his game too.
Yeah, which is good, and you need that, and you also need someone that can be a playmaker when Melo's sitting on a bench. So I feel like he will fit a little bit better than Miles because of that. However, I also wouldn't want to break up this young nucleus. I'm a person that believe you want to see how it goes at least one more year after you guys, try to make a run, because this is the first time they ever actually competed or did anything that was relevant.
And Sabonis ain't gonna get out and run like Miles do, and
Right.
that's what LaMelo need when he is in his playmaking mode. You know what I'm saying? He need that. Miles get out and run. That's how we see him motherfucking alley oops from the other side of
the lobs and stuff.
this past season.
That's true. The highlights, all that. Yeah, you're right.
So, hey, but real quick, before you leave this topic, I just looked it up real fast, and I think Mike got to get in too. So this past season, Miles Bridges was 17.1 points a game, 6 rebounds, 3.2 assists on 46% shooting. Sabonis, 15.8, 11.4 rebounds, 4.1 assists on 54% shooting. So, like bro said, he can raise their level on the offensive end, because you see it in those numbers and shit. But it's the defense and the floor running, like is that going? Yeah.
Right. Good point. Mike, any thoughts on it?
In terms of Miles Bridges, I mean, to me, I think at this point, with does it make them better? Like that's the question I would ask. Does this trade do anything for either team? Sacramento hasn't been like real relevant like for real since, like the Kobe Shaq days in the early 2000s. And then didn't they make the playoffs a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken?
Say
The
De'Aaron
second,
Fox and Sabonis together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They made a
they did.
little bit of noise, but
They made a little noise.
Yeah,
yeah,
when
they made a
so
Mike
little bit of
Brown was
noise.
coaching them. Yeah,
Yep. When Mike
yeah,
Brown.
so
And De'Aaron Fox was making blunders at the end of game still that Mike Brown got fired for alluding to.
Facts. Good point. Wow, I didn't think
not not
about that.
not the guy with the Clutch Player of the Year award.
Put it back to
We're gonna
back.
get to that.
so
We're gonna get to that.
so I just think that, I don't think the trade makes either team better. And honestly, if for the Hornets, it would make them worse, in my opinion. But I think they're building their team the right way through the draft, and don't make any drastic changes, I would say, unless it's going to make you better. As for the Kings, like, they got good players, they just can't win games. Like, it's just, to me, looking at it, like, they have a lot of good players, they just can't win games. And I don't think this trade would help either team. I think they'd be the same situation, or maybe even worse, in my opinion.
I think Charlotte would be in a better situation, but it would only be like we alluded to from the offensive end.
Right.
So
Yeah,
they probably end up just evening out just like they were last year.
because defensively they are awful. They can't stop a freaking nosebleed.
But like, okay, yeah, Bridges is a better defender than Sabonis. Don't get me wrong, but Miles Bridges ain't exactly like Jaren Jackson Jr. or you know what I'm saying? Like
he's not like that.
Not
like,
not even
No,
close.
like
he
you know what I'm saying? He ain't that. He ain't that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get to the highlight of the day. The NBA Finals ended last night. Knicks was able to go and capture their first championship in over 50 years. And they did it in 5 games against the San Antonio Spurs in San Antonio. Surprisingly, a lot of people kind of pretty much counted the Knicks out this game because, the sports books had them losing at least game 5 because San Antonio's back was against the wall. But unfortunately, San Antonio doesn't know how to get out their own way. So we're going to start with Will first. And what is your opinion on this series and how it went with San Antonio and the New York Knicks?
I think that San Antonio's youth finally caught up with them, finally showed up. Had a double-digit lead in every game of the series, right?
Yep.
Going
into the 4th.
Gave up a 30-point lead. And you could literally see them panicking on the court. I don't know. I found it interesting that for like kind of for all the managing that the Spurs do with Wemby in regards to his health and his regimen and the minutes restrictions that they put him on and all of that kind of stuff. And again, I feel like they should, be worried about it because of his build and his frame. But when they needed him down the stretch in these games, he looked tired. You know what I'm saying? Like he just looked like exhausted and worn out. And when he get tired, he would forget that he's 7'4". You know what I mean? I don't know if he was getting tired of getting banged around, you know what I'm saying, by the Knicks, because every time he came down there, you know what I mean, they made him pay as much as you can in today's NBA. But it just looked like the Knicks were the team that were ready. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate the Knicks. I don't like Knicks fans, but I don't really hate the Knicks. Only thing the Knicks ever really did to me was they signed Allen Houston away. You know what I mean? When we should have been building around Grant Hill and Allen Houston. You know what I mean? That's the only thing they ever really did to me. But I'm just not a Knicks fan. I'm not anti-Knicks. I'm not pro-Knicks. I'm just, they the Knicks to me. And they never really were like a threat, But as a little guy, as a point guard, it do my heart some good to see Jalen Brunson go out here and
I
shut
agree.
everybody the fuck up in so many different ways. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, you know what I mean, him being the killer at Villanova, winning 2 championships, being drafted in the being undrafted, right? He went undrafted, right?
No,
Or was
he's
he drafted in the second
33rd.
round? Second
Yeah,
round,
second round.
being drafted in the second round.
Yep.
Um, people, people say, and I get it because it don't happen often. It was only really Isaiah and Steph before him, but they say, little guys can't lead you to a championship. Um, he just him and Cat to a certain degree too. They just prove what I be saying a lot of times. People be trying to write people's script way too early, man. They be trying to have a perspective on your career in real time. you know, and then you get guys like them who go out and prove you wrong. It was people who were saying, Cat, you know what I mean, was not. I ain't never heard nobody say he was a bust, but it was people that were saying he was his career was disappointing. He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
this, he wasn't that. Maybe he didn't end up being the
Who the
best
fuck
player on the
said
champion.
that?
Oh, no,
Jimmy
That's
well,
Butler.
crazy.
it was a lot of people saying that he was disappointing. That's part of the reason that Minnesota was willing to trade him because he
Yep. Jimmy
wasn't
Butler
winning
was
shit
the
in
main one.
Minnesota. It's
Yep.
look, it was people that felt
They
like Cat
clearly
should
ain't
have
been
been in the
watching.
conversation for best player in the NBA with his skill set. So when he ended up not being that, yeah, it was people. So I'm not saying people said that he was a bum, but you know how they do it. When people see somebody and project them to be what they project them to be, if you come short of that, they feel like you was kind of disappointing. I ain't saying nobody ever called him a scrub, but he don't act like he ain't been a highly scrutinized player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's no secret. And all I'm saying is he went out there and, you know what I mean, unlocked that team.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson is the best player on that team. Cat was the most important player on this playoff run. You know what I'm saying? Because if Cat don't end up doing what Cat do and changing his game, you know what I mean? Which again, it's crazy to me that it took this long for a coach to, kind of use him in that way in today's NBA. Like they just both went out there and shut a lot of motherfuckers up. You know what I mean? And I respect it.
Well said. Well said. Definitely, I agree with everything you're saying. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But at least they got this one, man. At least the Knicks got this
Mm.
one. R&B, what is your thoughts on the Knicks and the Spurs series?
Well, the Spurs they one of my teams. So as I had said in the beginning when we made the picks, I said I want the Spurs, but I think I'm gonna have to go Knicks in 6. Those were my exact sentiments, and they proved me wrong by one game. They Knicks in 5. Knicks in 5. I guess that's I can say this shit. So they should get Uncle Shay Shay to say that one for y'all or whatever. But
Yeah.
man, I'll say this. I love sports, but I hate modern day NBA sometimes. I really do. Uh I ain't taking nothing away from New York, but damn did the Spurs just get out coached and out focused and out mentally just man, everything. Like this how do you know what? I think they put too much into wanting so bad to knock off OKC that they just got to this finals and it's almost like you know what I'm saying? They just didn't have it. They had it, but they didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these games outside of what that one, were pretty, nip tuck battles to the end. But I mean, kudos to the Knicks. I don't hate the Knicks either. I like Jalen Brunson. I just want to throw out there that we all can agree that given the right circumstances and teams, Allen Iverson definitely could have been another one of those small guards to deliver a championship.
Oh, no doubt.
What I'm saying? So Jalen rep for the small guards for sure. Um, I say earlier in this before the series started when we had the conversation. I don't know if you guys remember Mike and Raj because I think Will wasn't there, but I had said that I felt like Cat was gonna be the X factor to this whole thing, and I stick with that. Jalen Brunson is your MVP. Cat taking a step back actually to expand his game to do what he did was your most important player, but your X factor was OG Anunoby. Hats
Facts.
off to
Most
OG,
definitely.
man, because
Facts.
he was a part of that championship team in Toronto with Kawhi Leonard, and he was hurt, and what I'm saying, it was a lot of speculation around him that they felt like, what I'm saying, he could be somewhat of a, lesser version of a Kawhi Leonard style player. And that they wanted to see that together, but we all know what happened. Kawhi left. They end up moving on from OG. He ended up a Knick. This dude, man, from the tip back in the last game, and then like the shit that he just been doing all throughout this playoff run, man, like I really think that he could have gave Jalen Brunson a run for Finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
But Jalen came out and did what he did last night. He had the 45, so I respect the decision. But I think an argument can be made that OG, what I'm saying, could have easily been Finals MVP as well, because he kept them in a lot of games in order for Jalen to do what he was doing in them fourth quarters. Let's not forget he was shooting bad in a lot of these games, and then he just had good fourth quarters. But OG was bringing them back in some of these games and keeping them in some of these games. So, what I'm saying, hats off to him. But man, my Spurs, while I alluded to earlier, while I get frustrated with modern day NBA. Wemby, Victor Wembanyama is 7'3", 7'4". Whatever you want to list him at, put him at. He the tallest motherfucker out there and virtually unstoppable at the rim. Why in the last game are you up 29-30? And even at the point when you were up 25, you continue to hoist the shots. That's why I say it's coaching, because they were hitting those shots in the first half. In the second half, they weren't hitting them. And the coach stuck with the same game plan. He did not adjust. So I
Mm-hmm.
believe after this finals run, Mitch Johnson might be on the hot seat. Depending on, how things go next year, it's a possibility he might be on the hot seat, because they might be looking to get somebody in here that's gonna, know how to get this team unlocked to the way that they need to get them unlocked. I don't think he's a bad coach. I'm not saying that, but when you get this close and you show up the way he showed up, coaching wise, you got out coached like you did by Mike Brown. What I'm saying, that's a stain on your resume. Even though you're a young coach, it's a stain on your resume. So people gonna be expecting you to bounce back next year, and depending on how next year go and how he look as a coach, he could, potentially be looked at as being replaced by someone. So I just want to throw that out there. Like, I feel like he got horribly out coached in this series, and in some of the games in previous series or whatever. But they made it through. So, but to not see this dude on the block when you already up, to not see y'all, you ain't even necessarily got to be on the block, but you need to be attacking. Everybody need to be attacking. If the shot is not falling anymore, you got to attack. You up 25, 30 points. So you got to milk this clock. Why are we taking shots 20 seconds into the shot clock? Why? You got to milk this clock and get good shots. You got to get to the rim and either get a good shot at the rim or get fouled.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shit with De'Aaron Fox. That's why I say mentally they weren't, like bro. And then your explanation for it was, well, you know what I'm saying? I looked at the clock, I knew we were up 1. I figure if I get this bucket, we up 3. If you hold the ball, the clock is running, and you one of the fastest dudes in the league. So it's not even a guarantee that OG was gonna catch him like that. I believe he'd have caught him, but he might not have caught him like that. So now you talking a few extra seconds that you able to burn off the clock before they catch you, and you go to the line. And if you hit the free throws, you still up 3. So I'm disappointed, man. But I like the Spurs. That's one of my squads. But I picked the Knicks. But even though you make a pick, you always want to see who you like win. So that's where I'm at with it. But hats off to the Knicks, man.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with everything you said. Mike, what is your thoughts on the New York Knicks and this San Antonio Spurs series, championship series?
I'm so glad that you let me go last because there's layers.
Oh, that's why I picked you because I know you got it. You're about to unload the clip right now.
There's layers to this. First of all, congratulations to the New York Knicks fans. Congratulations to Spike Lee. And I have to congratulate my boy personally, Johnny Durrell. Like, if you understood, Raj knows him.
Man.
If you understood how big of a Knicks fan this man is, like, there would be videos of his wife filming him during regular season games, just in front of the TV like this, like, come on. So, like, and to make it and a little funny thing was last night, he was at church. He's big, like, minister and all this stuff, and he's singing. And then suddenly he looks down, and then the video ends. I'm like, oh, he must have seen the time. He was like, Jesus, you're going to have to forgive me. It's time for the Knicks. It's time for the Knicks.
Fact.
So there's layers to it. R&B alluded to some of it with, with game 4 and the shots. But I want to look at game 2 at the end of that game when Wemby inbounds the ball and it hits Castle in the back and they turn the ball over. The issue with the Spurs is they don't know how to close games. I think to an extent, R&B is very correct that they were so focused on OKC. They honed in on them. They were like, no, these mofos ain't going. We're going. So when you I look at the game, I look at game 2, and I'm like, okay, that was inexperience. Castle's house trying to give Wemby space. Who was he going to throw it to? You were the only player there. Then you look at, I
was saying he's a guard.
Right. So why would you give him space? He hadn't inbound the ball yet. So you look at that. Then realistically, the game that they won, you could argue that they should have lost. I mean, the Knicks played real bad and they only lost by 3 points, I believe. And you look at the 29-point game. Let's not also forget in that game at the end, Wemby missed 2 free throws at the end of that game.
Mm-hmm.
He missed 2 big free throws that really, really put them at a disadvantage. On top of outcoached, on top of shooting the ball 6 seconds to the shot clock. All you have to do is waste 18 to 20 seconds. Even if you miss, if you're wasting 18 to 20 seconds, you're cutting down their possessions. So instead of a potential, let's just say 20 possessions, they might only get like 9. And they ain't going to score on each one. I told my wife last night, the biggest thing is when you come out hot, like the Spurs did in all 5 games, it's hard to keep that elevation up for 48 minutes. It's almost impossible to put pedal to the metal for 48 minutes. And on top of that, not being able to close and allowing Brunson to do things that he shouldn't have done. And then the other thing, game 3, was it that they won? They wanted to blame the officials. Such a cop-out. It's like Mike Brown was up there blaming the officials. I ain't hear you blaming the officials last night. Over there singing the Baja Men at the end. And also, I got smoke for Cat. Just for last night's game. Bro, you got to do better with your foul trouble. Because, man, I'm like looking at the end of that game, he in the back smiling, cheesing in the middle like he did something in the game to win. Nah, bro. You ain't do nothing like that.
Mike,
Garner Whitby.
Mike, you just won a championship. Your team ain't won a championship in 52 years, and you out here critiquing film, bro.
Yes,
Come on, man.
that's my job, bro. I'm critiquing everything. Nigga had foul, and he was smiling and cheesing. No,
This is your first basketball championship in your life.
I'm critiquing and criticizing everything.
Let me say this. And I don't know if you know this, Will, but Mike is a psychopath, bro.
Mike, like, no, but fuck that.
He would look at game film. He would look at game film. Look, I know y'all won, but you could have won by 20. Mike will go
the
there.
whole state of New York outside celebrating right now. Mike in here like, man, fuck that shit, cat. You got to see me. This nigga about to try to negotiate a contract, and he was in foul trouble the whole damn game.
If Cat ended up with less money than he was supposed to get, blame this take. Blame this take on Mike. Because,
hey, listen.
Go ahead. We're gonna let you finish, but damn.
Real quick, while y'all talking about Cat, maybe Mike can allude to this too. It's rumored that Cat might not even be back next year, whether they won the championship or not.
That's right.
Yep, that's what I was getting. I was actually going to that. They're saying that the second apron is real, and he's got the most money. And to be honest, so I just see it as, and it's not, he played well through the playoffs. I'm not taking that from him, but bro was cheesing like he had like 40 last night. Chill. But the other thing too, is I told my wife before the game, I said, man, OG should be the MVP of this, because even though Brunson had the points and he played well on paper, it was really fourth quarters. And just a mix between, so to me, I just look at it as out coaching, poor execution on closing games, and just more experience on the Knicks' part. They were able to take advantage of their inability to close out games. And for that, I say congratulations to the Knicks. And I also say congratulations to Raj, because now Wemby don't have that title and it keeps the Joker ahead of him a little bit.
I knew it. I knew you was gonna go there. I knew it.
Hey, Raj, the happiest fan outside of New York right now.
Listen, it goes right now. It goes my boy Johnny, Spike Lee, Stephen A, and then Raj.
But hold on. Let me say this, and I'm gonna say my take real quick.
Go ahead.
I think growing up in New York, right? Growing up in New York, I grew up in a New York Knicks household, right? And it was crazy because like I've witnessed them for almost, I could say 41 years. 41 years of losing, never even coming close except in 94 and 99. Those are the only times outside of this time that I witnessed them actually come close to winning it all, and I felt like they was going to win it all. With that being said, I remember when the Nets went to Brooklyn back in 2012, and I said, I'm done watching this team, because first off, I used to go to the games. I used to go to the Knicks games when I was a kid, and I remember the tickets being like, I want to say probably like $35, $40 for nosebleed. And then James Dolan, when he took over from his, I believe his dad or one of his family members. Anyway, long story short, the ticket price went from $40 all the way to $150. Now, I grew up pretty much poor my whole entire life. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't have the money for that. We was like, you know what? F this. We're not going to the games no more. Like we used to go pretty much like every time they played, during the playoffs or during regular season games, we would go. We wouldn't go like every game, but we would go probably like a few times a year. Long story short, when the Nets went to Brooklyn, I jumped on that bandwagon, and I'm glad I did at that time, because if I would be cheering for the Knicks, I don't think they would have won a championship. Call it what it is. Call it reverse jinx if you want. But I can show you right now. I can show you my DraftKings account. I put money on the Spurs, and I said I'm donating this to the Knicks. I kid you not. I said this to my family. I kid you not. I said I'm going to put my money on the Spurs and watch the Knicks win this. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. So with that being said, I'm thankful that they went on this run. 13 wins in a row. That's in the playoffs from the time they lost from against Atlanta Hawks to all the way to the finals. They haven't lost a game until Donald Trump showed up. And then after that, once he left, they start winning
Isn't that
again.
crazy? The only game they lost was with him there.
That goes to show you he brings that bad energy. But I think they had a historical season. I knew when they went out and picked up OG Anunoby, and when they grabbed up Miles Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets, and when they picked up Cat, I said they got the final stone. I said they got the final stone for them to go out here and win the championship, because they got every specialist at every position. I was a fan of OG Anunoby when he was playing in Toronto. I thought he was just like Kawhi. As far as Miles Bridges, I remember Miles Bridges when he was playing with Phoenix, and I remember how he played in Brooklyn. He played as a star. He was a 24, 25 points a game scorer with the Brooklyn Nets. So I knew he had all the potential to be somebody that can get him points and also play every single game. He never missed a game, I believe, in his career. And with that being said, they had every single piece they needed to win a championship. And shout out to Cat for coming back to the Tri-State. He's a New Jersey kid, but he was a Knicks fan growing up. Shout out to Jose Alvarado, also from New York as well. He came back from when he played with the Pelicans. He got traded mid-season. Who else is a New Yorker on there? Well, Jalen Brunson's from New Jersey. The rest of the guys are like either his dad was a Knick, Rich Brunson. I'm glad that he really stayed on course and stayed with the Knicks and didn't go nowhere else, because he's the reason why his son came to the Knicks. And last but not least, shout out to James Dolan for staying out the way. Shout out to James Dolan for staying out the effing way. You notice when he showed up, they lost. But when he left and wasn't in the building, they won. So shout out to him for staying out the way and allowing Leon Rose, Worldwide West, all those guys that was in the front office putting this together. I'm glad that he won. I'm no longer a Knicks fan, but I'm actually happy that New York got this. And I just hope that this sets some type of precedent, because we got to see more basketball like that. I think this is the most funnest finals I've ever seen.
Well, now we don't have to hear everyone say the last one to get a title was, Eli Manning. He was the last one to get anything for New York was Eli Manning.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, shout out to Eli Manning, because without you, bro, Tom Brady would have nine Super Bowls. And actually, shout out to the NFC East, because if Nick Foles didn't handle business, Tom Brady could have 10 Super Bowls.
Yeah, thank goodness.
So, and the other thing I wanted to say is I saw a video this morning of when they signed Jalen Brunson. Every media outlet shitting on that signing. Yep. Each and every one of them. Everyone critiqued. Then everyone critiquing them 5 picks. I think last night after the game, Bridges went up there and said, "Forget them picks." Yep. Then there was criticism on the Cat trade, criticism on OG. And I think it's because it's not the generic, or not generic. It's not a starting lineup that you would say like, damn. And even Josh Hart, it's not a starting lineup where there's really like a dominant all-star or superstar, right? Like you got Brunson, you got Cat, but those guys aren't, like
superstar. Don't disrespect him like that.
Who?
Jalen Brunson is a superstar.
No. Hold on. No. He became a superstar. He became a superstar when he went.
Jalen Brunson has been a superstar for at least the past 3 seasons.
When he went there, he was not a superstar. I'm talking about
in an all-star.
while they're making the move.
When he went to
when he went to the Knicks.
Dallas.
When he went to the Knicks,
nobody
at that time, they're like, there's not a gleaming guy. The point I'm getting to is I compare. I'm saying in terms of how I look at it, it's the same thing, and I'm not comparing the teams. I want to make this crystal clear. I'm just comparing the scenarios. It's the same thing with the 04 Pistons. And what I mean is those guys, they were all-stars. They all made the all-star team. When they came together, there wasn't like a gleaming guy, right? But what helped them is the same thing that helped the Knicks. They created a beautiful chemistry that couldn't be stopped.
Right.
That Pistons team. I
mentioned that at the beginning of the series. I had said there was some parallels there between the Knicks and the 04 Pistons. But I still disagree that we didn't have a gleaming guy. Y'all gonna stop disrespecting Ben Wallace, first team all defense, first team all NBA. Stop playing with us, man.
I'm not saying that
you can impact the floor from the defensive side too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is when I say gleaming, I mean in the eyes as basketball fans, right? As people who watch the sport and pay attention and actually break things down, you're not wrong. But if you were to go and even ask people at that time and say, what do you know about Ben Wallace? What they going to tell you?
He was great at
They're going to tell you he can't score, he can't shoot, he airballs free throws because I'm going to tell you, offense sells tickets, defense wins games. And that's just what it comes down to. People don't like defense. It's just the reality. It's the reality.
No, people of this generation don't like defense. Let's get it right. People of this generation don't care for defense.
I know.
I get what you're saying. The game is about getting buckets. I don't disagree. It's always been about getting buckets, but you can't impact this game from more than just getting buckets. And it's some people that have done it at an extremely high level. And Ben Wallace is one of those people for a nice span there with the Pistons. He's one of those people.
No doubt.
He ain't no Ron Artest, and they can't touch him. Ben Wallace a different level when it comes to defense.
Well, so Ron Artest, that might have been a bad example because Malice in the Palace. Ron Artest was on defense that night.
None of those players that we revere for their defense and shit like Ron Artest and shit like that, they not Ben Wallace. We talking about a dude who could guard 5 positions.
Yeah.
Completely made it possible for them to be able to do what they did.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not arguing that fact. I'm not saying amongst
I agree with your parallels, though. I agree with your parallels. I'm just saying, like,
I'm not saying amongst us, like, I'm saying the general consensus. Me, I like a nice medium game. I like offense, but I like some defense. I like players to try just a little bit. Shit. I
hear you, but I still disagree that if you go back to 2004 and ask somebody about Ben Wallace, the first thing they gonna say is that he can't score. They gonna say he's the best defensive player in the league.
But let me ask you this, R&B. Do you feel that Ben Wallace was a superstar, though, at that time?
Well, this is the context, though. He didn't say superstar. He said gleaming player, like a standout player.
Okay. But I would say this.
I say this real quick to answer your question and not dance around it. Yeah. I have said this in the past. My bro can attest to this. Me and him have had this conversation. Mm-hmm. I would say that 2004, like that little window, that run that we went on,
I believe that Ben Wallace did have a span of being a superstar, a defensive superstar for those 3 years. But was he a superstar like his whole career? Like, fuck no. He had a
I mean,
lot
no, no, not
of
his whole career.
flaws to his game. I don't disagree with that, but what he was good at, he was damn good at. And
Yeah.
people don't give him that credit for what he did here in Detroit. And he changed this game to do that because he wasn't known as a defender coming from Washington. He was a scorer coming out of college when he went undrafted.
I think, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to speak for anybody, but just in my opinion, I think that's the thing that compares the parallels with the Knicks and what they did versus the Saint. Well, in comparison or juxtapose what the Detroit Pistons in 04. Because even though they had all stars on their team, they didn't have a superstar on their team. And I'm not saying Jalen Brunson isn't a superstar now, but let's be honest. They had him last season as a perennial all-star, not a superstar. I'm talking last season when it from the very beginning of this season, they didn't have a superstar. He became it going into this playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Versus it being like, oh yeah, Jalen Brunson's definitely top 10. Nah, he's not top 10. He's probably top 15 at best.
So you don't think Jalen Brunson was a top 10 player last year when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I think he was top 15.
Damn.
And I'm not the only one to feel that way.
He's played himself. I think he's played himself in the top 5 this year. So in order to play yourself in the top 5, you had to be somewhere in that bottom 5 of the top 10.
What I'm saying is, okay, so for example, right, I'm talking about the very beginning of this season, after they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last season, right? I would say Jalen Brunson was, in my opinion, probably like 10, number 10. And the reason I'm saying that is because of there's other players that are still good. Like look at let's do the list. Top 10. You got, and it's no particular order, so don't kill me. All right. But you got SGA, you got you still got Joker, right? You got Giannis, you got
Giannis is not in there. Giannis ain't even play enough to be in there.
I'm talking about the beginning of the
season. Giannis been hurt.
I'm talking about the beginning of the season.
But not just the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I'm talking about at the beginning of this season. I'm talking about the top 10.
You're saying these are the top 10 players coming into this season?
Yes, coming into this season.
Okay, so hold on.
No particular order.
I still don't agree that Giannis would be there.
Hold on, let him get through the list. Let him get through the list. So you said I'm gonna write him down. SGA.
Yes, SGA. You got. I'm going off of this year. SGA.
Yeah.
Giannis. Joker. LeBron James. Steph Curry. Right. That's the 5, and it's no particular order. Then you got players like Kevin Durant. Who would you put there in the Eastern Conference?
Anthony Edwards.
Jason Tatum. Anthony Edwards.
Well, Jason Tatum was hurt coming into the season, so he wouldn't be top 10. He was hurt.
All right. So that leaves like what, 2 spots?
So you got SGA, Giannis, Joker, LeBron, Steph, KD, Edwards. So if you take Tatum out, you have 3 people left.
Yeah, you got 3 people. Okay. So
did you say Luka?
Yes, Luka. You got to put him in there. I'm doing right off the top of the head. That's why it's taking me a second. Luka.
You wouldn't put Wemby in there?
No, not the beginning of the season. Not yet. And there's like 2 other spots.
You couldn't put Brunson in one of them spots, being that he was just in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I mean, arguably, yes. But okay.
Did you have Donovan Mitchell ahead of him at the beginning of the season?
I did. I would say I had Donovan Mitchell over Brunson. And the reason why is because of the offensive and defensive impact that he has. Not saying that he's better, but at the beginning of the season, I would have Donovan Mitchell over Brunson.
Donovan Mitchell can't play no defense.
He plays better defense than Brunson.
Yeah.
You know,
That's like saying you're the tallest midget, but okay.
yeah, but
My bad.
Brunson,
Real quick, I had a quick call come in. Rewind 5 seconds. I was engaged with what you were saying.
No, what I'm saying is there's like there's two open spots, right? Because I'm going off the top of the head. But what I'm saying
is you got to go Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell. Or you can arguably go Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham.
I would put Cade over Brunson.
I wouldn't. If New York had lost, then you might be looking at that going into next season. But coming into this season, no, I wouldn't have put Cade over Jalen Brunson.
The reason I'm putting Cade over Jalen Brunson is because his impact on the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what Brunson does, but Brunson doesn't average 10 assists a game. Cade damn near averaged a triple-double. And I'm talking about last season. I'm not talking about this season. I'm talking about last season. So there's a few. What I'm saying is,
so now we talking impact, or like we just talking just the top 10 best players?
I'm talking about top 10 best players, and that includes impact too.
So impact don't really. We just talking about the top 10 best players. I mean, either way you slice it, you can't not put Jalen in one of those spots, whether you want to put him 10 or 9.
My point is, I bring that up. I say all that to say that the people no, it's because that's all.
You said that all that to say you're wrong.
No, because that's subjective. It's an opinion. But what I will say is that the MVP race or the top 10 race, whatever you want to call it, Jalen Brunson was not in that top 10 last season, or the beginning of this season. He wasn't, even with them making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm saying that because
basing it off the MVP race.
I'm
moving the goalposts all around here.
What I'm saying is,
MVP
hold on,
race,
let me get my point across. Let me land the plane. Let me land the plane. What I'm saying
real
is
rocky,
that,
some turbulence.
Yes, but I'm going to land it because what I'm trying to say is the impact on the game as far as MVPs. I'm not the only one that's thinking this way. The NBA saying it, not just me. The NBA said it. They said that Jalen Brunson wasn't top 10. So with that being said, they didn't have a superstar on their team. They got an all-star on it.
We talking about some shit that's based on votes from a bunch of niggas. So like we're just gonna erase all the sports writers, all the people that's doing analytics, all the people that's. So we're just gonna go off of your opinion versus what they're saying. Can we use our eyeballs just like they use theirs?
So what is the definition of superstar?
I'm cool with factoring in a percentage of what they might have to say or whatever, but I still got 2 eyeballs and see damn well myself too.
And
I would tell me that this man is not a top 10 impact player on this team.
I would even argue.
Didn't he win clutch player of the year 2 years in a row or some shit like that?
I think so. But I could even argue of all these players you name that you could even put Brunson in there over Steph. I think you're putting Curry in there out of respect for what he's done and who he is. But in terms of the impact in this season, the Warriors didn't have it.
Here we go. Top 10 players, right? Here we
right
go.
Now.
According to the NBA. Not according to Raj. According to the NBA, right?
So
we got number one, because I'm telling you, because you guys act like my take is for Gazy. I'm telling you what I know. And I'm telling you what the NBA is saying, because it's saying the same thing. Number one, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
You just proved
Number
my
2. Hold
point.
on.
You said
Wait.
I'm
Number
telling
2.
you
Hold
what the
on.
NBA is saying.
Let me
I
get my
want to
point
know
across.
what Raj is saying. I don't care about the NBA. What is Raj
Okay.
saying? I'm
I'm
debating
telling
Raj,
you.
not David Stern.
And I'm telling okay. You just want
or
to
Adam
debate.
Silver.
You just want to debate. My point is, anyway, the moral of the story, what I'm saying is that they don't have 2 superstars. That's the point. They have, okay, we can say Jalen Brunson's a superstar. They don't got another one. How about that? They got 1. They don't have 2. So that's the point. They play with a great amount of all-stars on the team and people that are complementary players. OG Anunoby, but Mikal Bridges never made an all-star team, but he's a great catch and shoot player. Mitchell Robinson, not a good player, but he's great at getting rebounds and playing defense. So the point of saying that is there's a lot of comparisons to the 2004 Detroit Pistons because they didn't have multiple superstars. They might have had 1, according to what you were saying about Ben Wallace, but they didn't have 2. So that's all I got to say. After 30 minutes of going over that.
Put some respect on Ben Wallace and Jalen Brunson.
All I'm saying is it's hard for me to not put Brunson and the top 10 players coming into this season, coming off of an Eastern Conference Finals, especially considering when you've seen the impact he's had in 3 seasons. Like you could tell there's been an uptick, now, now going into next season, obviously you can't say that. He's obviously a top player up there with SGA, but the other thing is, bro, your boy's been eliminated in the first round and you can't put, Brunson made it to the conference finals and you ain't put him in there. Come on, man.
We talking the beginning of the season. Are we not?
But it don't matter. He made it further on that end, is all I'm saying. Coming off, if we talking about coming into this season, that means we basing it off of what happened going out of last season.
Yeah.
So, therefore, how does that make sense is what I'm trying to get to.
What I'm saying is, okay, and with that being said, if that's the case, then they don't have 2 superstars. That's the point, Mike. I mean, you're the one that brought up the situation, did you not? So you trying to argue a point that you argued about.
I'm not arguing. No, I'm arguing. I'm not arguing anything. I'm trying to get understanding of how Brunson's not in the top 10. I'm trying to get understanding. I'm not arguing. I'm trying to get understanding.
Right. Well, let's say he is top 10. Okay? Let's say he is top 10. Let's say he's in that category. What I'm saying is there's not 2 top 10 players on that team. That's it. That's all.
Okay.
Because most teams that win a championship normally have at least top 10 players on one team. Like we witnessed with LeBron James winning, with Anthony Davis in 2020. What we witnessed with, Steph Curry winning with Kevin Durant. These guys were in the top 10, and they were also able to carry their team into winning championships, multiple championships. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so he didn't have 2 top 10 players last year.
Yeah, so that's another example.
But I can name a bunch of teams that won championships that didn't have 2 top 10 players. Like it's
okay.
The thing is we do see teams. Okay, so we saw Shaq and Kobe win 3. So that's what I mean. That's not just 1. That's 3. Magic and Kareem won 5, which Kareem wasn't top 10 like all of those. Probably the first 3. You know what I'm saying? But so like we do see that quite a bit, and yeah, like you got to have talent to win. But we've also seen teams like the Pistons in 2004, the Bad Boy Pistons. Nobody would say they had 2 top 10 players. Who else? The Heat in 2006. I don't know if they had 2 top 10 players that year because Dwayne Wade wasn't considered, like his coming out party was really the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that he had a bad season or whatever, but he went crazy like that in the playoffs and took it from there. The Dallas Mavericks teams, Denver when they won theirs, Toronto didn't have 2 top 10 players. Like Yeah, that's one way. That's just a way to do it. But there's plenty of teams that didn't have 2 top 10 players that won championships as well.
So
it's only 10 of them motherfuckers in the league, so most teams ain't got them.
Well, now that the NBA finals are over, I want everyone to compile a list for next week. A list of the top 10 players that they believe are going into next season. Who are the top 10 players going into next season? We're basing it off of this season, going into next season. Who are those players? That should be an interesting topic for us, I think, or an interesting conversation, I should say. But I just, there's a lot of teams, and it, like you said, there's a lot of different narratives and ways to look at it too. Depends how you're seeing it, and everything's up for interpretation, and really everything's up for debate. Like, everyone has, it's like an asshole. An opinion's like an asshole. Everyone has one. Like,
and be it that may, I don't disagree. We all have our opinion, and we, it is what it is at that point. All I'm saying is that for me, let's not forget that we all have eyeballs too, and we don't always have to go by what the league or what the pundits and what I'm saying. We watch the game. That's part of why we do this. So right. What I'm saying, I think that's a part of it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's like you said, you got to watch and kind of just make up your own interpretation. Just like I say, like, I always say, like NBC, ABC, like regular news stations, they only going to tell you what they want you to know. Sports has a way of doing that too. They only going to show statistics that fit the narrative they're trying to display on the screen and get you thinking a certain way. But anyone can go online and look up someone's stats and kind of just do things their own way. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say to that.
All right. Is there any other topics we want to cover before we close out?
I do.
Not for me.
I do got my weekly trivia question real quick for y'all. I got one
Let's
for y'all.
Do it.
If ain't nobody else got a topic or anything.
I got a question. I have a question and a statement. I think it was Raj that said shout out to James Dolan for staying out the way.
Yes.
It was crazy that you said that because I was gonna say this anyway. But I was going to say congratulations to everybody in the Knicks organization except for James Dolan. Fuck him.
Seriously.
And again, I got a question. Particularly for you, Mike. Y'all can all, everybody can answer the question, obviously, but particularly for you. Game 4, the tip in. When Brunson pulled up off the dribble, and they blitzed him and he took the shot. Mm-hmm. It's not like I was like, oh, it's a bad shot, but it's like, damn, that's a tough shot. That's probably not going in. And then shit went in slow motion because I saw OG cutting from the 3-point line down the paint. And I'm like, oh shit. If this was a miss, he about to get this shit because ain't nobody blocking him out. And like I'm watching this shit in slow motion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a fucking Nike commercial or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And when he tipped the shit in, I'm like, oh shit. Like he might be the MVP. Because he also was guarding Wemby. You know what I mean? Took tough and give it. He was one of the people who was giving Wemby hell when he was guarding him. But did you experience that shit the same way that I did?
It just happened so fast. like, and when you're watching that kind of stuff and you're like, damn, because like Brunson, it wasn't a bad shot, but it wasn't a high percentage shot. Right. But when I'm seeing that and it comes in and people are saying it could be the greatest, shot in NBA finals history, I'm like, I mean, to me, that's not a shot. It's a tip. Like, to me, it's two different things. But just watching his knowledge and knowing and just having the idea to be in the right place at the right time, amazing. I did enjoy watching that breakdown and just watching him be able to have a moment as well. I think it was great. It was great for him. It was great for the organization, and I mean, it was great for the fans because they wouldn't shut up about it.
Right.
Just to answer that real quick too, before we go into trivia, I don't know if Raj gonna have anything on it, but I'm glad you brought that up because that was another coaching lack by Mitch Johnson that I noticed during that game. Why the fuck was Wemby guarding Jalen Brunson instead of being down on the block for the rebound so that you can try to prevent something like what happened? Again, he's 7'4".
Yeah, he played like a
Why is
shooting
he
guard the
on the
whole season.
perimeter guarding Brunson to contest the three instead of being at the rim?
I'm not mad at that because
That's all I
he
really
did
got
what
to
he was
say.
supposed to do. He forced a miss, but somebody else got to know. The other people on the court got to like block out. You know what I'm saying? Box a motherfucker out. Because again, OG was at the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? And nobody went and got him to box him out.
I don't disagree with you, bro, but it's just I'm sorry, the way I look at it, you 7'4". I need you in the paint for the rebound. Somebody else got to contest that. We got plenty of great defenders on this team that can contest that shot.
Hey, when Wemby was in the paint, Brunson was still getting to the rack and finishing. Like he was finishing around Wemby consistently in this series. So
yeah, nah, it makes sense, but to your point, to the point we made through the show is inexperience, like and just not being out coached. You should know.
they was out there looking like a rec league team, man. That shit was sad.
But to me, if someone else is guarding Brunson and he makes that shot, you live with that. But if he misses it like that and Wemby's down there, and there's a chance you win that game. So I mean, like I said, if someone else is guarding him and he makes it, you live with that. But
the chance you win that game if somebody box out. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
The nigga missed. Yeah. He missed the shot.
Maybe you need your to be the one to box out.
Maybe he should have had another big on the court because he starts Wemby and 4 perimeter players. So maybe there should have been another big on the court.
Coaching. I don't.
That's coaching. That's coaching. I'm just not mad at him.
For sure.
I'm just not mad at him having Wemby on Brunson because he did exactly what he wanted him to do, which is force the miss.
Right.
I agree with that sentiment only if you get another big on the court. I agree with that sentiment for sure. I don't mind Wemby guarding Brunson on that final shot if you throw somebody else out there.
It should have been somebody else.
And make secure rebound.
It's still coaching. Like he's still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we know with OG, and I'm not saying that he's sitting there expecting like it's a chance this dude could run all the way from the inbounds and the 3-point line and took this shit in. You ain't thinking that in real time, but you got to be thinking.
But you got to be thinking about that.
He's gonna follow the shot.
Somebody gonna try to follow the shot. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? It's like Mitch Johnson, even though this is his first season being coach for the San Antonio Spurs, head coach, excuse me. He didn't make no adjustments with Wemby. Like he didn't say, okay, you took like 5 threes last game. You know what? From this point on, you need to go down in the paint and not shoot threes at all. I mean, I get that he's a versatile big and he can shoot threes, but at the end of the day, like R&B was saying, he's 7'4". Like, damn, his arms got to be at least 8 feet high. You know what I'm saying? Like, get to the rim, get a rebound, get some putbacks. He played like a shooting guard the whole entire series, and I think that's what
what dedicated to wearing him out too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what killed him because he had to do things that was unnatural for his body. To go out there and dribble, and not just set screens to get to the rack. Like if I'm the coach, I'm looking at the tape after game 2, and I'm like, all right, we gotta make some adjustments. Obviously, we're not getting enough rebounds. Obviously, we're not slowing the game down to a point where we're closing the game. And every game that they played, it seems like they just wanted to shoot threes. That was it. They thought they was a Golden State Warriors. So I really think that you got to fix that moving forward.
Man, unless them fucking Buddhist monks gonna teach him some goddamn post moves, he need to get in the weight room and hang out with Tim Duncan this summer. That's what the fuck he need to do.
That's true. That's true. He's a little bit too thin, you know. But also about that, they also need to teach him his temperament too. He's got not an attitude problem. What's the word I'm looking for? When you get angry quick. It's not attitude.
Look, that all that aggression he had for Jalen Brunson, he need to take that shit down into the paint some fucking time.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you need to know how to read.
You try to throw Jalen Brunson around and shit. You know what I'm saying? Hit check that nigga, cross the body check him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Get Mitchell Robinson and Cat some of that energy, nigga.
Yeah. One thing I want to say also about Cat, because I know Mike has smoke for Cat. I will say this, even though he got in foul trouble last game, Mike, you got to also remember he kept Wemby in check in the paint. So we got to give him credit.
Whoa. I did clarify. I did clarify. My smoke for Cat was only for last night's game. Everything else, he's good. But last night, I was just mad that after they won, this nigga was in the middle of that crowd cheesing like he was the man for last night. When you spent,
you just won a championship.
You spent 39 to 48.
So he wasn't supposed to celebrate.
I didn't say that. But don't be in the middle. Be in the side. 39 of the 48 minutes, you was on the bench. Jake, I don't want to see your big cheesy ass in the middle like you did something.
Mike wanted Cat to be sitting in the champagne shower with his head down, like, damn, man, 4 fouls in the closeout.
Listen, the only thing that would have made me madder is if the Warriors won and it was Draymond Green.
Oh, hell no. I don't want to see that nigga win no more.
Listen, I had to see his crispity crunch ass on the inside the NBA. Get his black ass out of there. He lost. Go home. Go with Joker and play with some horses so we don't got to see you.
Haters.
Wait.
I hate everything.
Wait, so Mike hated on the way that Wemby was frustrated and upset in his press conference, and he hating on the way that Cat celebrated his championship. Yeah. Like niggas just can't get shit right. Niggas can't lose right. Niggas can't win right.
I told you.
Listen. What y'all have to, but hold on. What y'all got to understand, or what we'll have to understand here, because I think R&B knows this already. My hate for Draymond Green is special. Like, my favorite color used to be green until I've seen him. Yeah. I hate his face. I hate his hair. I hate his teeth. I hate the way he walks. I hate the way he talks. I hate the way he looks. I hate the way he shoots. I did not watch the roast of Kevin Hart because he was there. I hate that man that much. Yes, I said it. I hate Adam Silver for not letting him retire. I'm mad. All that other shit he's doing, no. Draymond said, I'm a retire. Adam Silver said, no, you're not. No, you big-eared freak, let him go.
Nah, facts.
Let him go. No. I hate him almost as much. I probably hate him more than Tom Brady. Well, not the Ravens, though. That's too far. But I do hate Draymond Green.
Facts.
Wow. Hate is a strong word, brother, but I know Mike got to get to his next endeavor, so let's get this trivia in real quick.
Go ahead, let's do it.
So rules as always, no cheating, no, don't have your Google search out hearing me talking no shit like that. I need to see 2 hands in the camera because I want to make sure ain't nobody trying to cheat on this trivia question.
I'm holding my phone.
Who is the only person in NBA history to win the MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year?
Oh, Larry Bird. Oh no, you said MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year, right?
Oh, you got it.
Larry Bird. Yep. Larry Bird.
Okay.
Yeah, Will got
Fuck Larry Bird.
Got it.
That was good. You know what I was going to say? I was going to say Isaiah Thomas.
No, Isaiah never won MVP.
That would have been a good guess, but yeah, he never won MVP. So I'm tracking this every year. I mean, every week I do it. I track it right now. This week, Will 1-1-0, 0-1-0-1. But I'm tracking it.
I'm mad I missed the
just so
one
y'all
last week. I
know.
should have known that.
That's good.
Yeah, that was a good
Oh
one.
man. All right, gentlemen. Well, another good episode as always. And are we going to try and do it again Sunday next week, or we got to do Monday?
Whenever you guys available, let me know.
Yeah.
I think Sunday would be good next week because I don't work. I don't clean next week. I cleaned yesterday actually. I went and did that
okay.
yesterday, so that's why I was available today. So,
good.
All right.
next week is my off week with that. So.
All right. So yeah, let's do it next Sunday then. Same time, 9 a.m. or
That worked for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, bro, do gotta go to work. So yeah, not work.
All
right. All right, boys. Well, appreciate you as always. We'll be locked and loaded, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace, fellas.
Hey.